Da, da, da.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our very first podcast, Fans of the Band, inside the Westlake Marching Band. My name is Mrs. Yadley. I grew up in a musical household, and I was in the band through college, marching in the Longhorn Band at the University of Texas. One of my sons was in the band in high school, and now I just love to watch marching band competitions. I'm a big fan. After watching a few competitions with my good friend Mrs. Hueslig, we thought for our own amusement, it would be a great idea to do a podcast about a marching band.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mrs. Hueslig. I was in a high school marching band, and my son is now in the Westlake Marching Band. I happen to work in the Westlake Orchestra Department, but this podcast is not in any way related to Westlake. This is a podcast just for our own entertainment.
For this podcast, we will be following the Westlake Marching Band through their marching season this fall. As we follow their season from beginning to end, we'll talk to the folks that make all of the magic happen. We thought we would start and end the season with a conversation with the head band director, Thomas Turpin.
Thomas Turpin came to Westlake in 2024 from Westwood High School. He is in his second year at Westlake, so his ideas are just starting to take hold. Listen and find out what some of those are. You can also find out what his favorite band meal is. We are going to delve a little deeper into his past and question him about his plans for the future of Westlake Marching Band. While it might not seem like it, this is our very first podcast, so you might hear some strange things with the recording this first time around. We promise that we will get better at both interviewing and editing as the season moves along.
As you listen, see if you can figure out my favorite instrument in the background. We thank you for listening, and we hope that you enjoy hearing from Mr. Turpin. Personally, I already found out some information about the marching band that I did not know beforehand.
As did I. Here on our very first podcast and interview ever, we have a very special guest, head band director of Westlake Marching Band, Thomas Turpin. We are sure this will be full of surprises for all of us, as Tanya starts us off with some rapid-fire questions.
All right, Mr. Turpin, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, these are rapid fire, so there might not be conversation, just question answer. Got it?
Okay.
Here
All
we
right.
go. What is the name of the marching show this year?
Urban Jungle.
Ooh, what music are you playing?
It starts off with Blue Rondo a la Turk by Dave Brubeck. It's got a little intro from Alanis Morissette's song, Citizen of the Planet.
Okay.
And then that's the ballad, the second part of the show. And then the last part of the show is a piano concerto by Michael Dougherty called Deus Ex Machina.
Ooh, I don't know that one, so that'll be exciting
It's
to hear.
aggressive, yeah.
Cool. What soloists are featured this year?
There's a lot in this show. In part one, we've got a huge tenor sax solo. It's kind of like super jazzy over the top of that.
Nice.
That's her favorite.
That's alto, but yes.
Oh,
Saxophone.
playing favorites. Okay. Let's see. We've got part two. There's an alto flute that starts off. It's beautiful, kind of like really deep, like haunting sound.
Cool.
And then there's a big old trombone solo in there. And then the closer has a clarinet quartet. So E-flat
nice.
clarinet, two B-flat clarinets, and a bass clarinet.
Cool.
So,
Can't wait to hear that. That's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. So how do you choose a show?
So it kind of depends on from school to school, to be honest. And without going down too much of a rabbit hole here, we're really fortunate to have a great design team. And so when we hired our current design team, the way that they work and operate is that design team gets together and there's really somebody called a program coordinator.
Okay.
And in our case, Jody, who is our program coordinator, is extremely creative, and she comes up with lots of ideas, and she looks at where we are as a program, where we're going, our trajectory, what are our strengths, places that we want to improve on a given year, and she comes up with a theme that she thinks is going to be a good fit for us. So now, that is not the norm, I would say, in most high school marching bands. I would say that a lot of process is the staff will get together. Maybe they have a lot of different people on a design team, and they'll throw out like, we like this music, we like this idea or this concept, but we're, in a very unique setting. And it's cool for me because I've never worked in a setting like this with a design team that just brings the show to us and says, okay, here's what you're going to do. And I think it requires a lot of trust, and it requires having the right people in place to be able to provide that for you. But luckily we have all those people on our team, which is awesome.
Okay, cool. So my next question actually was, who designed this show, and then how did you pick them? But it sounds like you were just talking about that. How many people are actually on the team?
So that's a great question. So our program coordinator is Jody Rhodes. She was a band director for many, many years, and then has kind of moved over more into the design side of things. Then you have a music arranging team.
Okay.
So we have Robert Saladen, who is our music arranger. He does the brass and the woodwind book. We have Rick Rodriguez, who is a phenomenal educator and writes our drumline, our battery book. And then we have Nick McConaughey, who is a percussion teacher at Southlake High School.
Oh, okay.
And he writes our front ensemble book. And then, of course, the one and only Casey Thompson, who writes a lot of our choreography in the book for Eve, with some of her other design or some of her other educator staff. They'll come in and write smaller pieces of the show, just depending on what we're going for. And then the other big piece of it is the drill designer, and his name is Mark Moreno. And is a big name in the field and has done great work at many, many different schools for a number of years. And Mark he essentially writes all of the movement that you see on the field, and then we kind of layer on top of that.
Okay.
So I'm forgetting. There's even more. So Conrad Eisenhower is kind of one of our visual caption heads, I would say, and he is one of the lead visual teachers for Santa Clara Vanguard. That's how he and Austin know each other through that activity, because that's where Austin marched. And so Conrad writes a large majority of the choreography that you'll see the winds do, and then Mr. Byers actually writes a large portion of it as well. I think that's it. That's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
I was going to say that sounded like almost like we were at an award show, and you had to remember like all the different people to thank,
right?
like who contribute. So
and then you're going to
like cool.
walk off stage and remember that I left somebody out, which is probably what's going to happen here in a second.
But listeners, if there was someone left out, we do appreciate you, and we're really excited about your contribution.
We love and value you very much.
That's right. So, all right, we're going to keep going.
Before you go on, I feel like we should say who Austin is.
Okay.
Because it was a very familiar. Austin Byers is the assistant band director.
Got it.
Yes, absolutely. And Austin Byers is an assistant director here. Cool story for me is Austin was one of my former students at Westwood High School.
Oh, wow.
So it's
That's
very full
awesome.
circle,
Yeah.
kind of thing to have as a staff. But he's a great choreographer. He's a great movement specialist and visual teacher, and he kind of heads up the visual side of our program on a day-to-day basis here too.
Then later on, when we talk about this special move, we're going to have to talk to him about that as well.
That's right.
I think so. So just a little teaser for later.
All
right. So moving on, how many hours of rehearsal are there in a week for the students?
So UIL, University Interscholastic League, which is kind of the governing body for a lot of academic things, music, fine arts, obviously sports throughout the state, they allow 8 hours of rehearsal per week, with an additional hour on like a game day or a performance day. So the way our schedule works on a normal week, we actually do 7 total hours, and then we have that 8th hour on like a game day. So instead of like the allowed 9 that you might do if it was a football game week, we do 8 of those 9.
Got it.
Part of that's, just with availability of facilities, being respectful of our kids' time, and also being, really good at trying to plan a rehearsal to make it efficient. So,
Right. Okay. Moving on to the next question. What is your goal for the group this year?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, it sounds a little rooted like in college football. I'm going to throw this out there. One of my like people I admire a lot as far as coaching, teaching is Nick Saban, who was at University of Alabama for years and years and years. And he talks all the time with his players about the process. And last year, I feel like being a new head director and a lot of new people on the team and everything, like everybody was just kind of getting to know each other and figure out, okay, what's going to work? How do these guys work? What are their expectations? And so this year, a big goal for the group has been to really continue to build on the processes we started last year, but really refine them and get the kids more comfortable in that, and also increasing individual accountability. So we put in some new like pass-off systems. So like all of our section leaders, for instance, were expected to have a majority of their music passed off really before band camp started. And that like was a big push, and it helped us a lot. I mean, we've already gotten, I would say, a little bit further ahead in the show this year than we were this time last year. And then the students, the same thing, trying to get their pass-offs done before school gets really, really intense for them. So trying to have them done in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the school year has been a big help. So I say that all of that as a preface to, obviously we want to be competitive. We have some big goals, but when we were setting goals as a leadership team this past year, we really wanted to make those goals non-competitive, because I'm a big believer that if the process is in place, then the outcome will be a result of that process.
Okay, so that sort of leads into the next question. Is there a competition that is a main focus or not? Because you do several different competitions throughout the season.
You're right. We obviously compete in the Bands of America circuit, and then you have the UIL side of things as well. And now the UIL has moved to doing state marching competition every year, which we advanced to the state marching contest last year. I think if I were to guess what the kids would say, and us as a staff too, but I think making finals at both the BOA San Antonio show would be a really big one. And then obviously getting back to UIL state finals as well. So those are big, like, focus on those kind of, outcomes.
Okay, so that's it for our rapid fire questions. Erin, I think you have the next set.
We do have some more questions about the competitions.
Okay.
And the 6A ranking that we have, and our small band in comparison to many of the bands. Fair. So we want to know, how can Westlake compete with bands the size of Flower Mound and Vandegrift and all of the motion and sound that they have going on the field?
Well, I think when you look at the size of the ensemble, and you start playing like the comparison game a little bit, I think it really comes down to, this idea of quality more so over quantity. And yes, you do have, some schools that are extremely competitive, that are 350, 400 members in their program. And, with us being about 210, which is still a good size program, comparatively speaking, especially if you look across the U.S., like this is a very healthy size band program. So I think when you're looking at comparing it to numbers or number of people on the field, one of the things that you're trying to get your kids to do at a really high level is have every single person contributing at their highest capability. I'll use, a really great band program as a comparison. Someone that's had a lot of success and their teaching staff is outstanding and they've got a great work ethic with their kids. But Cedar Ridge High School, a few years back, I think that they made it into UIL state finals and they had 3 tubas on the field. And so it really comes down to helping the kids to feel as comfortable as they can in their roles with what you're asking them to do. And making sure that they're achieving at the highest level individually so that the full group is, really producing sound or, is at a certain level of musicality or clarity in the technique that we're asking them to do. The other thing that I will say really does kind of set us apart, and I think this is a point of pride for us as a staff and the kids, is the design aesthetic that we have for our show. It's very unique. It's a little bit more, this year especially, a little edgier, and we have an incredible color guard program, and so I think that that's another thing that's a very strong competitive edge for us. But as far as the band in general, the amount of choreography and movement, so what I would say is like the visual program for the kids in general, we're putting a little bit more demand than what you may see just across the board. And I think the kids get a lot of credit for that visually as well, because it goes to enhance, general effect or what we're doing musically on the field.
One of the things I love about it is that every child is equally responsible on the field.
Yeah, it's huge. And, you look at, I won't get on my comparative high horse here. I'll be careful. But, like you can have in a football program, you can have a first string, a second string, a third string, a JV, a sub, and, for us, what we put out on the field, every single kid has to be pulling their weight individually. There's no substituting out in the middle of a performance.
That's
really
true.
cool.
I think that's great for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Moving to you.
Oh.
How did you get into band?
Okay. Let's see. So the abbreviated version here, my mom was a choir teacher in the start of her teaching career, and I come from on my mom's side of the family, like very musical family. We were always singing. We were, playing instruments and everything growing up. So my mom started me on violin when I was 3 years old. And so I was in the Suzuki program, great ear training very early on. I know that resonates.
I was never Suzuki.
No, but like at
both
least
my
just
boys
being
were.
involved.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
They played
But like,
piano.
okay, awesome. But so I guess I was an orchestra kid to start, and very grateful for that. And then started playing piano in 5th grade. Band started in 6th grade. I had a really great high school band experience growing up in Alabama. I'm not from Texas. And my little high school had about 800 kids, and about 200 of us were in band. So we had a fourth of the school in band. And so band was actually like, in this small little town in Alabama, it was the cool thing to do. And it had a huge reputation, and you had a lot of pride in being a part of that. And so I think I really enjoyed my experience. When I went to college, I didn't necessarily think that I was going to major in music. I actually, at one point in time, wanted to go into medicine until I took anatomy my senior year in high school, and I figured that wasn't out for me. And so I was like, the whole dissection thing, it was not for me so much. So I was kind of going into college a little lost. I actually started out as a music therapy major. Thought I might wander my way back over into medicine. I didn't know. Then I switched to performance, and I figured out living in a practice room for 6 hours a day was not for me either. And then I started coming back and helping out at my high school a little bit, and started teaching some private lessons, and just understanding that the education side of music, being able to see, just that return on investing in somebody individually, like it was so gratifying. And I think I was pretty much hooked way faster than I thought I was going to be in that. And that's kind of my journey into music. And then I did my undergrad and my master's at Alabama in music education, and then have been teaching in Texas this is my 19th year. Yeah. I played in my first full orchestra as a violinist in 3rd grade. So like that is a very burned in, distinct memory that I will always hang on to. And then getting to do that, I actually did a youth orchestra for most of high school, and like would drive to Huntsville, which is about an hour drive from where I grew up. But it's just been such a big part of my experience, and I want our kids to get to have that too.
Oh, question. So in college, did you march in college since you were meandering around in the fields?
Yes, yeah, I did. So at the University of Alabama, we are known as a football school. The time that I was there, we were not a great football school. I went through 3 different coaches, one who never actually coached a game.
Oh, wow.
So it was a weird time to be at Alabama, but it was still, Alabama football is big, whether you're winning or losing.
Right.
And I was a mellophone in the $1 Million Band. I marched for 3 years. I was a section leader. And then my senior year and my first year of grad school, I was a drum major. And then my last year, I was a graduate teaching assistant. So did all of that through college. And then I also marched drum corps 2 years when I was in college. So my junior and senior year. Yeah. That was some very formative times. Yeah.
So DCI was our next question. Did you march DCI?
Okay. Yeah, I did. I marched with the Cavaliers on mellophone in 2004 and 2005, which was a really, really great time in the Corps history. We won a world championship in 2004. We came in second in 2005.
Oh, wow.
So it was this, and some of the best high school band programs right now have people that I marched with that are their head directors or are on their staff right now. Fine arts directors. I mean, just people all over the place. And we were all taught by a really, really, really great group of people. most notably, somebody who was a huge influence for me was David Bertman, who's the director of bands at the University of Houston. And so getting to learn from him was honestly one of the reasons that I probably ended up in Texas. So very grateful to the Cavaliers.
That's cool. So Tanya marched in the Longhorn Band.
I did.
And
go.
she met her
Yeah.
husband
Hook 'em.
in the Longhorn Band.
I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
did. I'm one of those. Groups.
okay.
Yeah.
That okay.
And
That all makes
Kevin
sense
marched
now.
DCI, right?
Just 1 year. We figured out it was 30 years ago this summer. He marched in
Wow.
with the Blue Coats 30 years ago.
I aged out 20 years ago this summer. So that was a little bit of a hard. Yeah, I woke up on DCI finals day and that was the first thing that popped in my brain and I was like, "Oh my God. Wow." So I was telling Austin about that. He's coming up, I think, on his 10-year high school reunion. I was like, just wait, buddy. Just wait. You'll have those milestones. And they seem to happen faster and faster.
They do, don't they?
It's a little wild.
It is.
So we're to the special move.
Oh, we are. Oh, goodness.
Just
Okay.
to describe.
I don't know if I should be excited or nervous or
You shouldn't be nervous. So,
okay.
so I love to watch all the marching shows. My son was in marching band too when he was in high school, and then and I still my husband and I will still go to marching shows just because I like to watch them. And I noticed over the last few years that there's something that I just call the special move. I don't think it's special.
It
to
probably
me.
has a name.
It probably has a name, so we're hoping you can tell us. But what I wonder is why the bands use it so much, because to me, it seems almost like it doesn't always necessarily fit the music. I feel like the move should fit with the music,
Yeah,
right?
I would absolutely
So
agree
Aaron
with
is
that.
going to demonstrate what I call the special move, and you're going to tell us what it is and why people use
Use it all the time.
And
Okay.
Tanya is going to describe it for the podcast
Yes.
listeners.
I'm going to see if I can.
Do you have
I'm
a
gonna
guess?
guess what the special move is.
Guess your special
Yeah,
move.
guess what it is.
Before it even happens. So feet apart in second position.
Yes.
Yes.
Down into a plie.
Yes.
And then they turn their legs kind of
Yes,
to the side
and
into
then-
a forced arch and then flip back or
Or they flip to the other side.
oh yeah, here and then bam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
So there is no need to demonstrate the special move, and we
Okay.
don't get to do the podcasting
That's okay.
description.
That's okay. We don't.
No,
have to
I
do
kind
that,
of
but-
want to hear y'all's podcasting
No,
description.
but my wondering is in my mind, I guess when you do you go from the one and then you switch over to the other, I feel like there should be a pow, two hits or something. I don't know.
Right.
I don't hear that ever. And it just seems like people just do it to add it to their show.
You think about how catchphrases come into existence, anything that we have just taken into the lexicon,
Oh, that's cheesy.
yeah, or cool. Somebody picked that up, and then all of a sudden, we just say that for anything that we like or we give approval to or whatever.
Right.
So I would love to. Somebody can pick this up and go and research that the first time the open second into a plie, into a forced arch to the left or right, and then a pivot onto a forced arch on the other side,
Right.
back up into open second. My best guess or theory on this, my hypothesis would be that it actually probably was written into a drum corps show at some point or into a high school marching band show at some point. And then many other things that trend in any activity, somebody sees it and they're like, oh, that fits our music. And then what happens is it gets diluted out and then it will end up in a show in a place that makes no musical sense, but it just becomes a part of the vocabulary of marching band. So I'll give you an example. 2016, I think, the Blue Coats in their Downside Up show. Super cool. Had these slides and all the things and just these amazing soloists and it was an incredible year for them. But they started to do this visual where they would be standing and then their hips are just moving back and forth, just side to side. And it's nothing major. It's nothing crazy. It worked great for a particular moment in that show. But then next year you just saw it everywhere.
Okay.
And so I think it's, something that is somebody sees it, it's in vogue, it works great, and like it gets a huge crowd reaction, and like, yeah. And then you realize, okay, well, maybe the thing that the professional marching band people over here are doing in drum corps is not necessarily meant for my high school marching band of 7 people. And and then, it kind of just becomes a meme of itself. So, I mean, truly, that is, if there were a marching band choreography meme, that would probably be it.
Got it. I mean, I would just love to see a marching show where it like fits with the music and like fits in.
And I think you can, so you take that body shape and you kind of have like 2 legs at almost like 90-degree-ish angles, and like it's very angular. So if you're thinking about something like Shostakovich 10-second movement, yum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, something like that, that would make sense over the top of like, Claire de Lune. These 2 things don't fit,
Right. So do you think we'll see that special move in the show this year?
I highly doubt you'll see it in our show, because we wouldn't want to become a meme of ourselves. But I would not be surprised if you did not see it in multiple band halls and fields across
I will.
Texas and the U.S.
And had we been going to see it in your show, no longer?
If it was going to show up, I'm definitely taking it out now. So, I don't write a lot of the choreography, but at least as the marching band director, I do get final editorial privileges. So, but most of the time, I don't ever have to exercise that because I work with people that are way smarter than me that would probably never put that in there to begin with in the first place. Nothing against it, and what I will say, everything has its place. And like, if that is a great move, and I will be the first to admit, I write drill for a lot of high schools and have done that for many years. And I have gone out and I have choreographed that move because it's something that's really easy. If you give the kids a basic, like we talk about fundamentals in playing, and we want to transfer that to the music. If you come to any of our marching band practices, you will see the kids start with about a 3-minute long movement exercise, and they are covering a lot of dance basics in that. We do a grand plie, we do a forced arch. Like, there are things, so they have those bits of information. And if I were to tell them, go into open a wide second, do a demi plie, and then go ahead and go to a forced arch on the right, the kids would all go beep boop bop, and then you would have the special move. In anything, it has to be purposeful and tastefully done. And so I'm a big proponent of what you said. Like, when I'm judging, I want to see what I'm hearing. So, the book, the music should be a soundtrack that leads us from moment to moment in the show, rather than just, it looks like people picked things up off the cutting room floor and then just like stitched it together. Yeah. Or, one of my biggest pet peeves, and I know Casey would echo me, is like, you see a color guard out there, just the kids are doing this incredibly hard work and it's so complicated and it just has no musical effect whatsoever, because what you see happening in that moment of choreography doesn't match this soft and serene moment in the music. And then all of a sudden there's just this mixed, it's like this juxtaposition that doesn't make sense. So,
well, thank you for explaining all of that about this special move.
I'm glad I could help. That's my take on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but
love it. Thank you.
We have questions about rehearsals.
Okay.
So, you have band camp. It started the end of July.
Correct.
And you had how many freshmen come in?
I think our freshman class this year is 61 or 62. Yeah.
That's a lot of people to train up.
In a short amount of time, yeah.
Do you feel like the freshmen made a good amount of progress?
They have. They really have. And this past year, we did a little bit different, where we had that Saturday camp back in May. So that was a little bit of an introduction to the movement program for them, a lot of playing through and just getting them a chance to like hear the music and kind of start to understand our processes that we do in rehearsal. Send them away for the summer, and then they come back like freshmen. All the percussion and Eve start a couple of days earlier, and then we had a day where it was just freshmen and leaders, and that was really beneficial. And so I think the amount of progress that they make in a short amount of time is pretty spectacular, actually. Like, when you're realizing that you've got kids that are coming in that are being asked to compete and do things at a varsity level with kids that have been doing it up to 3 years longer than them, it's daunting. But that's where, having a good rehearsal schedule in place, but more importantly, like a really good leadership team that can kind of jump in and help and mentor, because we're scary band directors, and it's a lot easier to have people that are closer to your age try to help you in those moments. So
I know that every year I'm like, how do they do that with the freshmen? How do they do that with the freshmen? And it's every band. It's not just Westlake.
Oh, yeah. No,
you see those bands out there, and it's like, oh, they don't use their freshmen. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
So I find it even more impressive that
no.
you use all the freshmen and what they accomplish.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And I think it's a sense, that's what band is all about. It's like this sense of community, and it's like, okay, we know you don't know how to do this thing, but we're going to like take you under our wing, and we're going to make sure that, you don't feel left out or left behind, because like, if you can't do this thing, that's going to impact our success.
Right.
And so there's certainly a sense of ownership, I think, that comes with that, which is part of the freshman experience, getting to understand your importance and your role in everything.
So we were at rehearsal
We were.
Friday night.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
We came to watch so we could ask better questions.
I love it. That was a good night to come to rehearsal. They were working their butts off. That
They
was
were.
a
They
long,
They really were.
yeah, 4-hour rehearsal block. Like after the first week of school, like that's admirable.
Yeah.
So
It was hot.
Yeah, yeah.
And all the forced excitement every time you say reset. Woo!
They, it's kind of weird. Like I think they do it as a little bit of hype, as they would say, but like I think a lot of those kids, it's actually genuine. Like we're lucky that they love what they do, and they get to like have those kind of rehearsal experiences to like exude that at times. So
we noticed a lot of people not on staff wandering around the field and in the bleachers, and people that I didn't know talking on the microphone at the kids. And
yeah.
we're like, how many sets of eyes does it take to put together a marching show?
At any given time, we have probably 4 to 6 marching techs that kind of focus on like brass and woodwinds. At least 2 percussion techs, 1 for battery, 1 for front ensemble, 2 for color guard. So, I mean, that's just like kind of anywhere from around like 8 to 10 additional staff that would be at any rehearsal that's not a band director. On Friday night, we had, I already mentioned her, but Jody Rhodes, our program coordinator, was there. And so she was getting to see, the first part of the show kind of come together for the first time. She was I know she was texting and calling at one point our drill designer and saying, okay, we need to fix this, we need to edit this, or we need to look at this for moving forward. It's crazy. I mean, there were probably, and then Conrad was there helping out and teaching choreography. So yeah, Friday night, we probably had 12 people either up in the box or down on the field, just doing everything they can to help move the kids along.
Well, I mean, there's so much going on. You can only look at a little section at a time. Do you ever
absolutely
assign and trade who's looking at what, so different eyes are looking?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Absolutely. Planning. It's a lot of planning. So Friday's usually my planning day, and even as we have our staff meetings, like I will take that morning and go ahead and come up with the whole next week's rehearsal plan. And then Austin and I kind of like work to come up with the class plan that we're going to split up and co-teach for the next week. So there will be times, especially as we're getting, like right now, the lesson plans are, I wouldn't say generic, but like we know what we got to do. Like we have to teach the second part of the show. Right. And, there's only so many things that you can write down for that. But like once we start getting into the cleaning and like really working to master the show, I'll have, okay, for the first 20 minutes of rehearsal, we're going to focus only on page 1 up through page 5. And in these things, these are places that need to get better. We're having issues with the woodwind arcs over on side 2. So I need, Matthew and Ben to focus over there. Mr. Byers and Mr. Pearson are going to be with the brass. And so I'll kind of like, it's a rotation, and then everybody has access to that document. So they know in any given rehearsal, when we get into that level of detail, where they need to be at any given time on the field. Or if we're in the middle of something and I see something blowing up over here, I can say, okay, all field staff get over to side 2 on the 30-yard line and help out in the trumpets. We've got some pass-throughs that aren't working. I don't know, I'm just saying it. But like, it's nice to be able to have those. It's like chess. You're constantly adapting and moving and just putting people where they need to be to put out fires. And I feel like I'm just the like puppeteer, just kind of like trying to keep it all moving along and give my little bits of feedback and make sure everybody else has their chance to give feedback. And Ms. Thompson can address to the, color guard, and then Mr. Armini to percussion, and then, just keep the pace of rehearsal moving along so they get as many reps as they need, but it also doesn't bog down.
We're going to ask you, do you have any extra special band memories from your marching time?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have so many. Oh my gosh. So San Antonio's always held a special place in my heart. It's the first place I taught. I moved and started my teaching career there. But it's funny because I've had so many great memories in that dome, at the Alamo Dome. And like my junior year of high school, we came out and brought the whole high school band and performed at the Alamo Bowl. And it was like Penn State versus Texas A&M, and I remember getting to see like the Aggie band do their thing, and then Penn State marching band is very core style, so it was like, wow, that's two very different things. But I remember there was a marching competition that went along with that, and our band won it, and so we got to do our show at the pregame of the Alamo Bowl that year. And so I remember like being on the field there, and I remember where we sat in the little end zone area, and then I remember marching drum corps, and I remember like being on the starting line in the Alamo Dome and like thinking back to my high school band experience and being like, I sat in that chair when I was a junior in high school, and now here I am performing with like one of the best marching organizations in the world. And then taking my very first I guess it was my second year teaching, we took our band, and that was the first time. That school had only been open like 4 years at that time, and we advanced to the area contest, and that was the first time in school history. And then getting to be on the field with a group I was teaching, and then just all the great memories. Like, it's funny how a place can be tied to so many moments.
Can hold
and
all those memories. Right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you think about that, I'm one person, and how many kids have marched on that field, and how many like millions of memories must be,
made there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly a special memory, is like getting to do some great band trips when I was a high school kiddo and getting to travel, and all the band shenanigans like that we know our kids have, and that is part of the band experience. Like, band trips are the best, and that's like one of the first times I remember getting to like travel on my own as a kid and just getting to have that experience, and it's fun. That's what band's all about.
Speaking of traveling, favorite band meal? What is your favorite band meal?
This seems like it would be my question, because I do help with feeding the band, but
That's
this
right.
was not my question.
The resident bird feeder didn't ask the food question. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's see. Current favorite meal, I would say, whenever we have Raising Cane's. I love that. And I know that, like, I think that kind of echoes for the kids too. Like, they just like something that's easy. But like, I don't know, Cane's that sauce just hits a different way. It's so good. It's good on the bread. It's good on the fries. It's good on the chicken. Like, you just give me like a whole side of that sauce. But yeah, I
hate Cane's. I won't eat there. My family eats there when I'm gone.
That's their cheat meal.
It is.
Yeah, I'd say that one's probably, that's my favorite band meal.
One right
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, this is our last question for you.
The last one. Here we go.
Oh.
How do you entertain yourself on the long band trips?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Because you're not shenaniganing in the back.
Right.
No, absolutely not. Thank God for chaperones. I will always I'll bring my phone or an iPad or something, and I'm usually watching, like, binging something on Netflix. Like right now, I just went back and rewatched all of Wednesday so that I could watch the current season of Wednesday right now, and then the next, like, they did the split thing. So usually during the fall, that's like if I'm on a long bus trip, like this wonderful trip that we're going to have in a couple of weeks where we're going to be going down to San Benito. That's a 5.5 hour one way. So I'm going to be able to watch a lot of shows.
Will.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to be on the docket at that point, but usually probably binging something. Most likely falling asleep, actually. Let's be honest. I'll be watching, but then about an hour into it, I just doze off.
It's playing without you.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I just want to tell you, Evan asked me if I was going to San Benito. And I'm like, if I go, I'm spending the night, and you can stay with me if you want. He goes, I'm not missing the band trip. I'm not missing the bus ride.
I did the math on that. I think we're probably going to get home between like 4 and 5.
That's what
I don't see a way that we're gonna, because we're gonna have to stop
unless the buses break down.
Oh,
Oh,
Aaron.
no.
I can't. We're not going to talk about
How many
that
trips did you have last year with no broken down buses or trucks?
It was definitely an inverse to the other. Like, I mean, pretty much.
I think it's 0.
Yeah. I think at least all of our competitions, something happened. BOA,
no.
Austin.
The trip to just the beach trip.
Yeah. Oh, like the beach trip. Yeah. There was something, it felt like almost every single marching competition. For some reason, like football games. Well, we had, that's not true. The Shirts Cibolo game, we had a bus breakdown in the lot. It wouldn't start. So we had to like combine and like, I think we put Highline and like the trumpet bus or something all together. I don't remember, but we got really good at like dividing people. And it honestly, by the end of the season, I didn't even get mad anymore. Like there was no emotion. It was like dead inside at that point. Like we showed up to, I think it was BOA San Antonio prelims. It was an early morning. And like, I remember like one of the buses didn't show up and I was like, whatever, just put the kids just to take bus 4 and divide them up. And here we go. Let's get the kids on the bus. I mean, just stone cold at that point. Nothing could faze me.
Total experience. I have to tell you, we were in Greece and our bus broke down on our tour. And I texted Evan, our bus is broken down.
It's like, I feel your pain, buddy. Yeah. The number of times we were like, just like, stranded on the side of I-35 going down to San Antonio last year. It was embarrassing. So yeah, the people, the staff, thank God I am close friends with many of the people at staff on staff at BOA, because I was able to like call up and say, okay, like the truck is literally on the side of I-35 and it is 4 miles from the stadium, but there's no way it's going to make it there. So I will say this community is great. Like we missed that football game and coach didn't blink an eye. Like everybody was so supportive. There were a lot of adventures in my first year here. I'm excited. I am going to knock on my desk as I say this, but I'm hoping that this is a boring year when it comes to travel.
Sounds
Everything
good.
is calm.
Sounds good. So we have reached the end of our questions. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I just think this is cool. Like I love nerding out about band and like to get to talk about what we do and share that. If anybody gets to listen to this and gets a little bit more insight or perspective on the planning side of how a show comes about or that, then I think that this is an invaluable tool, especially like hopefully band parents can listen to this and maybe it'll get to band parents that are at other band programs that, just may not, have all this information as far as like all the things that go into putting a program together, because it doesn't matter if you have a million designers that are on your team and providing all this stuff for you, or if you're the band director and you're the only one at your high school and you're writing the music and the drill for your own kids, which is, to be quite honest, that's the reality. What we are in a very fortunate ivory tower, and I am aware of that, and we try to impress upon the kids how fortunate they are for the things that they have and these experiences they get to get. But like, if people can understand, I think just one thing from all of this would be the value of music education and the kids getting to be in something like marching band, where they are a part of something that is bigger than themselves, and they can't only focus on just their actions, because if that's the case, like their actions end up impacting everybody else. And so I think just getting to talk about why band is just so ridiculously awesome is a privilege. So thanks for letting me have the chance to share about that.
Well, you're welcome. And we just really want to thank you for letting us come here, taking the time to talk with us, because this was really mainly for our entertainment. And then, hopefully it's going to grow from there. But we're really excited to follow the band this season. Aww. And dear listeners, if anyone has a question that we did not ask and you would like it answered, please email us at fansoftheband.whs@yahoo.com. We'll take a look at all those questions and then we'll see what else we can ask Mr. Turpin, and we will bring it to you in the next edition of our Fans of the Band podcast.